Okay, so today I will be going over CBRE and their strategies. So, why did I choose CBRE? CBRE's company overview happens to be the fact that they were founded in 1906, and they've grown to become the world's largest commercial real estate services firm. They have a strong global presence in leasing, capital markets, property management, and investment advisory. And then on top of that, my favorite fact is that they manage over $1.2 trillion in transactions annual, which obviously make the company extremely attractive to somebody like me. My personal connection, my family has always been working in real estate for 3 generations now. They recommended that I apply for the CBRE internship, and I decided to do so. I was interviewed 3 times over our winter break, and I happened to receive this position, which truly aligns with my goal to become to succeed in commercial real estate and being a broker. So, moving on to their strategic analysis. Um, Politically, they've always aligned politically and never really had many issues. So, tax policies, interest rates, zoning laws affect all of their commercial properties, and they're always on top of that. Economically, is where they had a huge challenge over COVID-19 because from 2024 to 2020, or from 2022 to 2024, their investment and leasing business were affected heavily. However, socially, some positive news is that Amazon, AT&T, Boeing, and many other tech companies have actually integrated mandatory return to office mandates. Technologically, they've had heavy investments in AI-driven real estate, which I will touch on later. Environmentally, they're always just using sustainable properties that follow LEED GBES requirements, which I actually am studying right now in my sustainability for real estate class. There's a demand for green buildings and energy efficient properties, which they have been following. And then legally, CBRE obviously is the top commercial real estate firm in the world. So they're always going to be working with the best of the best lawyers. So legally, they really don't have any challenges. Moving on to Porter's five forces, the threat of new entrants is pretty low. They have a very high capital brand dominance. And what I really wanted to focus on is the bargaining power of buyers. Their risk is very high with that because, you know, corporate clients demand insights and cost-effective leasing, and they always have to stay up to date with that. The threat of substitutes, not very high because there's only firms like WeWork that basically are doing the same exact idea of office leases that CBRE provides to their clients. However, they're not doing it at such a high level. And then industry rivalry always is high for CBRE. They're constantly competing with Cushman and Wakefield, JLL, Newmark, many different companies that I can just list off the top of my head. And then the sixth force was complementers. I wanted to highlight their strategic partnerships with investment firms, office providers, and tech firms as well. I thought that was very important. Then VRIO framework, when I analyze CBRE and their competitive advantage, they truly are on top for a lot of different areas. I thought that their 4 core competencies were global reputation, AI-driven decision making, client networks, industry expertise, and employee talent. What I really wanted to focus on here is their value. They have so many various long-term contracts with Fortune 500 companies and investors as well, which just automatically keep them at the top and result in stable revenue streams, as you can see on the right side, and their competitive impact. They're really not too rare of a company. There's lots of companies out there that are similar. However, CBRE works and operates at a very high level, which keeps them at the top. It's pretty difficult to replicate them because, I mean, globally, they're very present and they just have an amazing reputation. So yeah, that's my VRIO framework. Their business level strategy. So now going into kind of what I think is the most important aspect of this presentation. CBRE operates in a very highly competitive real estate service market. They're competing, as I mentioned before, against firms like JLL, Cushman, Wakefield. And instead of focusing on cost leadership, CBRE employs a differentiation strategy, which offers premium services that provide unique value to clients. As you can see here, I highlighted all those various different topics. And, I'm going to move on as I'm running a little bit short on time here. So growth strategy overview, build, borrow, buy, of course. CBRE's corporate strategy is driven by 3 approaches. building internal capabilities, borrowing through strategic partnerships, and buying through acquisitions. Um, as you can see right here, internally, research and development in AI-driven leasing and analytics. On top of that, collaborations with Industrious, which is a new prop tech company that they invested 35% in, as mentioned earlier. And then acquisitions of Paya Consulting and Turner and Townsend as well. The impact on this is that they're going to grow sustainability consulting and project management, which are two very, very important aspects of their company, of course. So how do they maintain profitability? CBRE has premium prices, clients pay for CBRE's services, and on top of that, competitors may offer the same services, but at the end of the day, they're not going to offer as amazing services and high quality services as CBRE. Then 1 to 2 years of strategic recommendations. I really believe that over the next 2 years, CBRE not just should think about it, but they must focus on short-term strategies such as competitive position and driving immediate revenue growth. So my first recommendation was to expand AI-driven real estate services. My second was for them to focus on green buildings and carbon neutral real estate. And then my third happened to do with myself because I think I'm the best intern that CBRE is going to have in many years. And I think that they should start to implement, a full training leadership program that allows for interns not just to have an 8-week opportunity, but to have a full-time job after their internship, of course, if they succeeded in that department. My 3 to 5 years strategic recommendations, I really think that after researching such, it's easy to kind of be creative as a student. So I would say CBRE should really focus on scaling their technological advantage and expanding into high growth real estate markets. And one of those high growth real estate markets is Asia. They must increase their investment in Asia and Middle East markets because urbanization has driven commercial real estate growth crazy. And CBRE obviously is present in those areas, but I don't think that they're as present as they should be. And then they need to develop more solutions, continuing to buy startups that specialize in blockchain. University of Denver, of course, in the first business class highlights blockchain and how it's one of the artificial intelligence that's really being integrated into our world. And then finally, for my 10 plus years of strategic recommendations, I think that the industry leadership in AI and sustainability is going to be a huge aspect of this market. So they need to, lead the market in automated leasing because obviously AI is replacing a lot of jobs. Smart building management and carbon neutral properties. And then on top of that, market domination. They must expand into, actually, I wouldn't say they must, but I would say if CBRE is at such and holds such a competitive advantage that they have had over the years, why not expand into residential and mixed use real estate properties? Obviously, residential, self-explanatory. Mixed use, for somebody watching this, if you don't know what that means, a mixed use is similar to observatory park apartments that we have here at the University of Denver, where there's restaurants and salons on the first floor of the building that are paid and leased, and then above it are all the apartments. I think that this would be really strategic for CBRE. And then moving on to their strategic future areas, arenas, vehicles, staging, and economic. I mean, all 10 out of 10. When I analyze a company, I could not have been more impressed. So as a result of that, I think that they're going to, sustain their competitive advantage, keep their brand reputation, hold their client networks extremely high. And then on top of that, if they see this global expansion, they will have long-term success and will continue to adapt to industry trends. Here are my various sources that I used throughout this project. I really enjoyed this project because I'm working for such an amazing company, and I now had the opportunity to research them and enlighten myself on, what they do outside of just the team that I'm going to be working for this summer. So yeah, really enlightening experience. Very happy that I got to do this report, and I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you.